I actually created a playlist for my chosen sin. I don't know if that gave you a clue as to what that sin is, but it is the sin of lust. So welcome back. I'm Jasmine, and there's a rumbly in my tumbly. I'm sorry, I fucking had to, because that shit was too funny. I'm in the middle of trying to make this video, and all the things that needed to go wrong did. This is like my third attempt. And then I got hungry, hence why my intro is now me eating this freaking yogurt. So that's what it is. This wonderful Witches Black Lent challenge is brought to us by none other than the lovely Beanbag Hagwag and Jasmine Ambrosia. Their channels will be linked down below in the description, so feel free to check them out. They're amazing content creators. And if you want a much better explanation of what the fuck Witches Black Lent is, then feel free to go check out their channels, because they made great intro videos. This is now my second year participating in the Witches Black Lent, and if you want to know what the heck I thought about it the first go around when I worked with Wrath, then check out my last video, because that's where all that info's at. So, why did I choose to work with lust? This is not something that I saw myself doing last year when I did the challenge, even though I did see myself going through all of the sins at one point, and I'm still planning on doing that. But lust wasn't something that just seemed like something I could work with at the time. I didn't see why I needed to work with it. Like, I was just seeing a very black and white version of this sin, and I think that's why I don't think I would have picked it. It wasn't even in my top 3 last year, to be honest. But this year, things are very different for me, and the energies that I'm working with this year are very Venusian, to keep it brief. And I'm planning on, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, making a video about working with the planet Venus later on. However, this video is not about that, so let's not talk about that right now. When I looked up lust to see what the internet gods had to say about it, it wasn't that easy to find content on. And most of the content that I ran into, at least like with a very shallow search, was, you know, without big surprise, created by Catholic or Christian sources, authorities, the like. And it was all about unrestrained sexual cravings, and the idea that this would lead someone, particularly a man, to commit adultery. And that just seemed like a very shallow way to look at it, and I'm not using it like that at all. But I did think it was funny. I went onto Pinterest to see if I could find some cool art that would inspire me when I would draw the sin of lust. And didn't find a lot there, first of all. But then I kept seeing like all of these, like I said, like this Christian or Catholic paraphernalia of the sins and what they are. And this one in particular, I'm looking at it on my computer right now. That's why I keep glancing that way. Let me see if I can show you, because I don't want to like screenshot this and put it into the video later. But it was really funny. Okay, let's zoom it on in. Oh, shit. Okay, there's my ring light, so that's kind of in the way. But basically, it says overcome the 7 deadly sins, and then it lists all of the sins. It says what they are, and then underneath it tells you the good Catholic and Christian way that you can overcome these. So for lust, it says be pure. That's it. That's all you have to do. You just got to be pure, like the most filtered water you can think of. Guard your heart. So apparently you're not allowed to let anybody in. I think they meant except God though. And then it says, give yourself a project. Exercise when you're bored. So apparently this happens if you're bored and if you don't have projects, which is weird because I'm giving myself the project of participating in the Witches Black Lent. So not the best advice, but I did get it on Pinterest. So, you know, do with that what thou wilt. Okay, so now let me tell you how I'm going to be working with lust. I think we've all heard at one time or another lust for life. I think even Lana Del Rey has an album named that, because when I was searching for stuff, that kept popping up and I'm like, that's not what I want to see. So the way that I chose to work with lust is to embrace discomfort. So much to the point that it goes beyond comfort. So another phrase that I think people have heard probably on various occasions is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think this is a way to take that a step further or make it a bit more extreme, which is to become lustful for that which makes you uncomfortable. And I don't mean like if something makes you uncomfortable, no matter what it is, you have to lust for it. It's more of like a psychological mind trick or a way to brainwash yourself into doing things that are difficult for you to do, but that are necessary for you to reach certain goals, aspirations, and the like. And this is something that I picked because there's a lot of things that I'm uncomfortable with that are necessary for me to accomplish my goals. And a lot of these things have kept me in sort of a limbo, and have made me feel like I can't reach these things, or it just becomes a very fucked up mental game, basically. The main purpose of this project being to attempt to eradicate the fear of trying. Because that's at the very core, that's what it is. It's a fear of trying. Trying that which has not been tried before. Now, where it can get very, I guess, sexual, is that I do want to incorporate really feeling everything in my body. And this kind of correlates with me engaging and working with my body more deeply since I think it was like summer of last year. So this is kind of like bringing together a couple of threads that I've already been working with, and then just taking it a step further using this challenge. So to me, to lust, to be in that like right before that peak climax moment, to be right before like those feelings, those sensations, that's what I want to try to embody when I face something that I'm uncomfortable with, which is a very tall fucking order. This is where the challenge is gonna lie, because typically when we're faced with these challenges, or even if you think about it in forms of trauma, you tend to go in a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And the idea with working with lust is to create an entity, a tool, assistance that's going to aid in not doing those things that come natural when you're very uncomfortable, but to move through with it and be in it. And with fight, I mean physically. I don't mean like the mental, because you're going to probably have to do some mental gymnastics, some mental battles to be able to find a way to lust for walking through this shit, right? And I think like one of the easiest ways to try to awaken this or engage with this is through certain chants, affirmations, things like that, is to start circling those thoughts and that thought process through you first. So you're telling yourself what you're going to attempt to do once this happens. Just because if you don't do that, I don't think you're priming yourself enough. And when we're in those situations, a lot of the tools that we learn to get through those situations go out the fucking door real fucking quick. So we got to kind of prime ourselves and sometimes put ourselves in those situations on like a LITE light level first, and then try to prompt the tools that we learned. It's almost as if, or it is as if, I'm trying to create a kink for this shit. You know what I mean? Did I just wink at you guys? Like in the middle of being uncomfortable, but not like you're chosen uncomfortable, but like in the middle of this shit, being able to be like, oh yeah, I like the way this feels. I could do this. And then when you're not uncomfortable, almost miss it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that is what I'm trying to do with the sin of lust. Now I know I'm uploading this video late, and I was going to add the poem to this video, but then I was like, no, because then I'm not going to want to say much because I'm going to be afraid the video runs too long. So instead, we're going to save that for another video. However, I did want to share that, and I think this is a good idea for everybody that's participating in the challenge to do if they have access to this, which is to create a playlist. This is another way that you can start prompting yourself to be able to deal with the challenge regardless of what your chosen sin is. I have now, I think, up to like 50-ish songs on my lust playlist, which is obviously very personal to me. But I loved the idea of creating this playlist because it would be easy for me to engage in the ritual once that time comes, which is part of this challenge, but also to continue to engage with lust and to create that relationship and really be able to manipulate what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to work with it. And I just kind of wanted to talk about the playlist a little bit. So I had some criteria for this playlist, and I have it like written down on my laptop, so I'm just kind of like scanning through it so I don't forget anything. Okay, so my criteria is number one, and the easiest one is, does it turn me on? Is it a song that I'm like, oh yeah, like we're gonna get down and dirty on the dance floor, this is some baby making music, like hell yeah. Like that's number one criteria. Maybe not number one, but the easiest one. Another one is, does it bring me lustful memories, heartwarming memories, nostalgia? And to me, lust and like love are very much intertwined. So that's why I said like heartwarming memories. There are some songs in my playlist where I'm like, oh, I remember when I was a teenager and I heard this song and it made me feel this type of way for the first time, or it really made me engage in this. You know what I mean? So that was another criteria. And then, or criterion, I don't know. Okay, another one is, does it make me feel myself? Does it make me feel like I'm sexy? Does it make me feel like I could turn somebody else on or myself on? And if that song makes me feel that way, makes me feel like body rolling, makes me feel like dancing, makes me feel sexy, then obviously that's going on the playlist. So yeah, make me feel sexy, that's another one. Does it make me want to get after it? And it is not the clown. However, if you're into that, then get it. I was gonna say girl, but I'm not gonna assume everybody's watching as a girl. So get it, people. So yeah, want to get after it. Get after it can mean like sexually, like pursuing some experience. Or it can mean another experience that's not of the sexual nature. It can also mean goals, dreams, life aspirations, but like really getting after it. It like pumps the blood into your veins. It makes you just want, it just makes your body pulsate. That's what I mean. Yeah. So those are the criteria for my lust playlist. And I was making this while I was at the gym too. And I've been using lust to get through workouts and to get through some jogging that I started doing on the treadmill, which is insane to me. That's something I want to talk about in another video as well. But I was making this playlist in the gym, and as I was going through different songs, these different songs, some of them I'm like, this doesn't fit lust, but it fits pride, but it fits wrath. This one fits greed. And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna start making playlists for all the sins. So those playlists are very, very like sad now, because some of them only have 2 songs, some only have 3, and I'm not working with those sins, so that's not a priority. But I just thought, like, what a great way for you to embody and trigger that sin on a day that maybe you don't have access to sit in ritual or in meditation or whatever the case may be. You have your phone with you all the time pretty much, and you can listen to these songs and it can help you amplify the energy that you're trying to call upon. And you know, obviously, like, as a witch, you already know these things. Like, this is the type of stuff that you do when you're in a good mood, when you're in a bad mood. A lot of us have certain songs that we go to either purge those emotions further or to completely forget about those emotions because it's just not the time to deal with them right now, you know? I just was so proud of myself, so I had to share it. I don't know if you guys are interested in knowing what my lust playlist sounds like, but if you are, let me know, and I'll try to link the Spotify list somewhere. But yeah. And the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video was actually from the Thoth Tarot deck. And that's the card of Lust, which is originally the strength card in the RWS system. And I loved that it was lust, because I do think that lust is a type of strength. And after I explained that glare, dude, and I do not want to go into explaining all of the symbolism in this card because there are YouTubers out there that did it much better than I ever could, of course. But I went into a deep dive in this card, and it just made me fall more in love with the sin of lust, actually. And I'm actually just going to share one little thing with you, and this is not like a deep dive at all, like I said. This is what I saw in the little white booklet that comes with the actual deck. But it says, control of the life force. I wrote, I love this because it's like saying we're not giving into or abandoning faculties. We're very much manipulating life force. And this can be very beneficial psychologically, sort of like a manipulation to approach things in life that we typically do not lust after. Which I think I've already been saying, but yeah. Okay, and that's all I have for this video. I will be back soon, hopefully. I think I might merge weeks 2 and 3. I'm almost done with my poem, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, I hope that you guys participate and that you have fun with it, or try to have fun with it, because I know that it can shake you to your core. You know what I'm saying? And I guess I'll see you guys soon.